For literally centuries, right? The notary public has been this bedrock of trust, the local in-person service you go to. But in our world today, a world of global business and blockchain, that old model, it's pretty much broken. So the big question is, what's the fix?
And that's really the heart of what we're talking about today. Can a whole profession that's, built on paper and stamps, can it actually survive in a world that's digital first? And the answer here, well, it isn't just about notaries. This really gives us a sneak peek into the future of all kinds of professional services.
All right, so before we can really look forward, we've got to understand what we're working with. Let's dig into what's holding the traditional notaries back.
Okay, this slide just lays it out so perfectly. On one side, you have the old way of doing things. You're stuck with local clients, you're charging these little per document fees, you literally can't work outside your own neighborhood. But then, look at what the digital world needs. It demands global reach, ironclad secure transactions, and services that can scale up. You've got an analog service trying to survive in a digital world, and folks, it's just not cutting it anymore.
So this is where the JusticeFund Exchange, or JFE for short, comes into the picture. And I want to be clear, this isn't just some new app or tool. It's a completely new business model designed to bridge that massive gap we just talked about.
At its core, JFE is a framework that helps you build a modern, scalable digital attestation business. It's all built on 3 key pillars. So let's dive into what those are.
Okay, pillar number 1 is something called fractional contracting. Now, think about this. Instead of chasing one-off, single-document clients, a notary can become more like a consultant. They build a whole portfolio of clients, maybe a law firm, a title company, even a fintech platform. It's a total game changer for maximizing your time and, of course, your income.
Next up, we have tokenized agreements. You've probably heard of these as smart contracts. The easiest way to think about them is as self-executing contracts that live on the blockchain. Because they're on the blockchain, they are completely transparent and they can't be changed. They automate the whole shebang, from the terms of service all the way to getting paid. It's basically trust, but built directly into the code.
And the final pillar is automated compliance. And listen, anyone who's dealt with notary law knows it can be an absolute minefield of different rules for every single state. It's a headache. Well, this system uses software to handle all that compliance stuff automatically. This drastically reduces the risk of human error and, just as important, it creates a permanent, verifiable record of every single action taken.
So there you have it. Fractional contracting, tokenized agreements, and automated compliance. Those are the 3 pillars. But how do they actually work together? Let's walk through the new, streamlined workflow.
Okay, so here's the process in action, step by step. First, you have secure document intake, then a really rigorous identity verification process. We're talking KYC, KBA, the works. After that, the actual notarial session happens and the digital signature and seal get applied. Now pay attention, because this next step is absolutely crucial. A unique hash, and you can think of that like a tamper-proof digital fingerprint of the entire event, is permanently recorded on the blockchain. Once that's done, the system automatically generates the invoice and handles the payment. It is just a clean, secure, and incredibly efficient process from end to end.
All right, but you might be thinking, if a single notary is juggling all these different clients in a digital model, how on earth do you keep all their sensitive information secure and separate? And you're right to ask, because that is a huge, huge challenge.
The answer is multi-layered security. Let's break this down. First, as you can see, every single client gets their own isolated client vault. It's like giving each one a private digital safe with a unique key. No data crossover, period. Next, access is controlled using these things called NDA tokens. Think of them as temporary keys that are super specific, they have a time limit, a scope limit, and they can be revoked instantly. And finally, the whole thing is backstopped by the immutable audit stream. Every single action is recorded on this thing called the NotaryChain ledger. That creates a permanent, unalterable proof of compliance. It's rock solid. Okay, so we've got the framework, we've got the efficient workflow, and we have military-grade security. That's all great, but does it make business sense? What about the bottom line? Let's get into the numbers.
Check this out. With a baseline portfolio of just 4 clients, a notary can be looking at over $6,000 a month in revenue. And honestly, that's just the starting point. We're talking about a real, tangible business opportunity here.
So you're probably wondering, how do you get to that $6,000 figure? Well, the key is that it's not from one giant client. You have to look at it like a portfolio. You might get a couple thousand from a real estate title company, another chunk from an estate law firm, maybe some from the JFE platform itself, and then you fill it in with smaller private jobs. What's so powerful about this is that no single client can make or break your business. That is the magic of the fractional model. You're building a stable, scalable business from a bunch of different revenue streams.
And believe me, the growth potential does not stop there. Once you're set up, you can start offering retainer packages for steady, recurring revenue. You can even branch out and offer services as a fractional compliance officer for other companies. Or, get this, you could act as a tokenized trustee for digital assets. The possibilities are honestly huge.
You know, this quote from JusticeFund Exchange really just sums it all up perfectly. The goal isn't just to, slap a digital coat of paint on an old profession. It's about a total transformation, turning a local practice into a modern, scalable, and seriously valuable digital attestation business.
So that brings us to the big final question. Is this model just for notaries, or are we looking at the future of professional work in general? I mean, think about it. Accounting, law, consulting, this kind of framework could literally change everything. It's a pretty powerful idea to chew on, isn't it?